But have you ever noticed in reading the gospel accounts how often Jesus answers a question with his own question? I have a friend, a former student, a converted Jew who is really good in the gift of the gab. And he wrote a book called Questioning Evangelism. Now, he's not trying to question evangelism. He's trying to evangelize by using questions. It's a questioning evangelism. And he begins by going through all the places in the Gospels in which Jesus answers a question with his own question. And very often he does so because the initial question that was put to him was a bit obscure or a bit tendentious or a bit smart-alecky or something was a bit off. And by asking his own question, he's reorienting the entire discussion. And then what my friend does, Randy Newman is his name if you want to look up the book, Questioning Evangelism by Randy Newman. What my friend does then is take the lessons he learns from studying Jesus and thinks through how they might be applied to us today. For example, supposing someone says to you, I'm sure most of us who do any witnessing have experienced this, someone says to you, oh, come on, you don't really think that those who don't believe in Jesus, they're all going to hell, do you? How do you respond? Well, I would like to begin by a general consideration of the nature of sin and holiness. Well, you just lost him right there. But how do you answer a question like that is grounded in such massive structures of biblical thought? What my friend says is, ask a question. So the question you might ask back is, you don't think that nobody goes to hell, do you? And every time he's said this, then usually people have replied, well, obviously, some people probably go, I mean, Hitler maybe. Then the next question is, so what are the criteria for going and not going? And suddenly you've got a discussion going. Do you see? It's not merely an antagonistic bit of label calling. Sometimes the best way to advance a discussion is not immediately by giving an answer, even though the answer is true. Jesus could have answered this question directly. But sometimes it's good pedagogy. It's good teaching. It brings clarity, new depth, precisely by asking a question, answering a question with another question. That's what Jesus does. And his question is, what's written in the law? How do you read it? You're the expert in biblical materials. I'd love to know what you really think. In other words, Jesus is suggesting, in fact, that the man is just testing him, and Jesus knows it. And so he wants this man to commit himself just a wee bit before the discussion goes farther. What do you think Scripture says? How do you understand it?